How's it going, guys? It's Ryan here, and welcome to this video about Runelabs and the small update that they're requiring for this next sort of section of Runelabs, or the next kind of polling period. So this is kind of my proposition, and it's actually a proposition on a fix for shields, as you can see by the title, Fix the Shields. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not posting this so you can blindly vote for it. Vote for it if you guys think it's something that would benefit the game. I personally think it's something that's going to absolutely benefit the game. And benefit shields and make them useful. But yeah, I'll leave that one to you. I'm not pushing anyone to vote for it if they don't want to vote for it. Totally up to you guys. So I'm just going to kind of read it out. So pretty much I say, since EOC, shields being more or less useless in most situations, it isn't that having a high armor rating isn't important, it's simply that some extra armor isn't worth a third of your damage output. And that's with the other 2/3 coming from your main hand. Which is why you don't see too many people using shields around. Just for that exact reason, is a third of your damage is kind of insane to give up for some extra armor. So my proposition is to make shields useful in more situations by adding an offensive benefit to them. So I propose two different possible ways you could do this. The first way is kind of out of left field and a little crazier. The second way is probably easier to do on Jagex's part and definitely a small update. The first option is probably more like a medium update. But that being said, I'm going to outline both of them. The first option is a sort of adrenaline save, which is when equipping a shield, you gain more adrenaline for basic abilities. So basically, your adrenaline bar will raise faster. Balancing-wise, it'd be like 15 to 40% extra for a basic ability. So this adrenaline would be on top of the traditional adrenaline, so it'd be like a separate adrenaline color. So your adrenaline comes in gold. This would be, for example, green or blue or some other color. Possibly even depending on what combat style you're using. You could use, green, blue, and red for the 3 combat styles, whatever. But this adrenaline would go on top of your traditional action bar, and basically it would count as adrenaline only when you had the shield equipped. So if you unequip the shield, the special adrenaline just dissipates, which would just prevent people from rushing ultimates right away by putting on a shield, getting full adrenaline, and then not using it again just to get the ultimate quickly. This would be a way to basically mean that when using a shield, you have less damage, but you can use more powerful abilities quicker and more frequently by getting adrenaline up faster. Now, this is the old-fashioned way. This is the easier to do, definitely a small update. I know there are some spelling issues because I haven't officially submitted it yet, but here we go, the old-fashioned way. So remember how the Dragonfire shield used to have a strength bonus, which made it quite worthwhile to use? This proposition is basically to give shields a strength bonus proportional to the tier of the shield, where the tier strength bonus was equivalent to 20 to 70% of the damage of an offhand weapon at the same tier, at the same attack speed of the main hand weapon being used. Okay, that's a mouthful. That is kind of complicated, but I'm going to explain it right now. So for example, you've got a Malevolent Kite Shield, which is a tier 90 shield. If you used a weapon at speed fastest in your main hand, whether that's a Dragor Mace is a perfect example. So you're using a Dragor Mace, like a main hand mace in your main hand, then the Malevolent Kite Shield would get a damage bonus equal to 20 to 70% of an offhand Dragor Mace, because an offhand Dragor Mace has the same attack speed as a Dragor Mace. And basically, this has nothing to do with your main hand, but because the Malevolent Kite Shield is tier 90, it would take on the attributes of a tier 90 weapon at the same speed as the main hand, which would be fastest, which would be between 86.4 and 302.4 damage, and 1/10 of that in legacy. So basically what this means is you can use a tier 90 shield and it'll give you a damage bonus as well as the defense, and it's not a damage bonus as good or even close to as good, depending on how Jagex wants to balance it out, as using an offhand of the same tier, but it's enough to be substantial and significant in making it potentially useful and worth taking the trade-off of some loss of damage for the extra defense. So yeah, just to end it off with, either one of these methods would make shields worth using, as in the current game the damage loss is just too high. So pretty much this is a way to get around the fact that you lose a ton of damage if you decided to use a shield. Like if you're training Slayer, you're not going to use a shield. You still probably won't, but for a lot of bosses, it's worth it to use a shield, or it would be with this update in place. Place something King, God Wars bosses, something like Nex, something like Calphite King. As the tank, it's great to use a shield, but usually as a tank at Calphite King, you don't want to use a shield because you lose too much damage. And this would kind of fix that a little bit, where you make the shield worth using. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. There's going to be a link in the description and probably in the comments below to this if you want to vote for it. But like I said before, totally up to you guys. I'm not pushing for anything. And always let me know in the comments below if you think this would benefit the game. So anyway, guys, have a good one. Peace out, and goodbye.